I've been asked the same questions from a lot of marketing agencies, and they're really good questions. So I wanted to make a video and answer some of them. So I am using notes because I wanted to make sure I get all the information on here. So if my eyes dart to the side, you know why. So the first question I get is, how do you start the process of figuring out how to do marketing translation for a client that needs it for a website or for content or for social media, basically for multilingual lead generation, customer acquisition? Well, the first is you need to identify those clients. And it's really easy when the client says, hey, I have this need, can you help me with it? Another area to look at is if they are selling outside of the United States. If they're doing any global selling, they might have a need for it. And if they're doing a website that's only in English, they could be missing a lot of leads and not acquiring customers that they could be by just doing some simple translation. And yes, we have translated from American English into British English, and there's sometimes when that's actually good to localize it for each market. Another client to watch for that might need translation is one who is marketing in an area or to people in the United States that might be Spanish speaking. So if you go on Spanish speaking TV and you watch who's advertising on there, a lot of the major manufacturers, consumer products, car companies, a lot of them have ads on Spanish speaking TV. And it's good to know that the Spanish speaking market in the United States is the second largest Spanish-speaking market in the world. It's only second to Mexico. And then another area is if people have an English language website and they're producing a product or a service that is selling internationally. And if they just translate some of the materials or for the products or services they're selling internationally, they could dramatically increase their business from there. So for example, if you've got a client that has a website, they're selling a lot in Germany, they could be saying, oh, they're buying in English, why do I need to do that anyway? But purchase prices go way up when people actually buy, when they've provided information in their own language so they can buy from that. Then I get asked, what's the next step? Well, you can't, because you don't know what to do, you don't know how to answer their questions. So you can contact us for a preliminary intake call. And what we'll do is kind of walk you through some scenarios once you explain who the client is, what you're seeing, what you've identified, what they're interested in. We'll walk you through how to ask good questions so you sound really intelligent when you have the first meeting with them. You can pull us in. We can work as, your back office translation expert, or we can go in with the partner that, as the partner that specializes in marketing translation. And you can offer your clients a free MMA, which is a multilingual marketing assessment. So the free MMA actually looks at what you've already looked at. We'll do it just briefly. What's their company strategy? What are they trying to accomplish? Then we look at their marketing communication strategy, which you've developed. And then we help you build a multilingual strategy. So you know what communications need to be in different languages. Then we look at what kind of processes they have in their company. So we can align in and fit in with theirs and with yours and make it a seamless process so it's simple for you to get quality marketing translations. As for technology, we still use all human translators because marketing is very specific. There's well-researched messages, there's key terms, search terms, there's taglines, brand names. They all need to be researched and tested so you don't run into some of the embarrassing situations. If you do want to learn about some of those, you can subscribe to our marketing trivia tidbit, and we send out some of those mistakes. So it's a good way to learn about them. Where we do use technology is to create a memory. So if we've translated some marketing materials once, we don't want to translate it and do it different, because it really could be a problem if a brand name or a product name is translated differently in a different place. So we do capture a memory, but it's already been done by a human, and then it gets updated if there's ever been any changes to it. And the fourth area that we're going to talk about on the MMA, or the Multilingual Marketing Assessment, is quality. We offer 100% guaranteed quality on our translations. We've been around for over 30 years. We know who we're using, and we make sure to match the translator to the client, so they develop a real knowledge about what the client is saying, what they're doing, who they're targeting, what their products are. It's just like a content writer. You don't want to use a new content writer every time you're doing a blog. Same with translation. So our relationship with you, it can be white labeled, it can be as a partner, or you can just refer us over and we can guarantee you that we're going to take care of them. Let's see. So how much does it cost is the next big question. So our minimum charge is $95, and that's about a page of text. But you can't say it's $95 per page, because once you start adding the pages together, the text is going to be less, and so it won't cost as much. But if you think about $95 per page, you're looking at about $100 to $150. You can do a landing page that's specifically targeted to a language and a product, and then you can really measure what's going on and decide if you want to expand from there. We've also had people call up and say, hey, we want to translate our website, and we'll give them a price for the whole thing. They'll get a little bit of sticker shock, and then this is why we came up with doing the MMA, is when we actually talk about their strategy, they may only be selling certain products in each country, and so it doesn't make sense to translate all the material. We just target down what makes the most sense. Or even if it's a website that's being used in the United States to educate people, you know, we can pick out the particular information, like a medical clinic that wants to give information, but it doesn't need to put all the doctors' bios translated. So those are the kind of things that we work through. Now, a warning on pricing is it can be complex. Industry standard is to price by word. And you'll see anything from 12 cents a word to, you know, upwards of 50 cents per word. And I give a real warning on comparing price by words, because what we've seen with some people or some companies in the industry is they'll give a low price per word, but then they have a lot of add-on fees. So it'll be for project management and for reviews and quality assurance and you know, extra time they spent on it. And so when we hired a group to do a study on industry pricing, we found out that we came in competitive with what everybody's doing. Yet if you look at our price per word, we look a lot more expensive. So we've had to be really careful on this, because we have a fully loaded price per word if we actually give it to you on that. And that would include all those things that I talked about. Plus, we give you a dedicated project management team who's getting to know your client and your specifics. And we appoint a translator to your account. So we look at the language, we look at your material, we look at the history, we look at what you want to do, your strategy, and we're going to put a person on that so they really get to know what you're trying to do. And if you have terminology preferences, they're going to be consistent on using that. We are coming out with a detailed video on pricing, so keep an eye out for that if you want to go into more of the details about that. The agency owners and people that work there have wanted to know what languages we do. We do over 200 languages, so anything that you come across, we're going to be able to handle. There are about 3,000 to 6,000 languages in the world. It's actually shrinking over time, because as we globalize more and people start watching more TV, they need to know a local, more common language. So unfortunately, we could be using some of the languages that are spoken by fewer numbers of people. But predominantly, we're doing a couple of dozen, and that speaks to 75% of the world. So we've got you covered on whatever language that you're looking for. And so why us? Why would you come to us? Well, we're going to make sure that it's done right, that you're going to maintain the consistency of voice. We've got marketing expertise. We've been doing it for years. We're going to watch out for ways that you can manage the project now and in the future. So if you do relaunches, we're going to keep the document management systems in. We're going to take care of you. And bottom line, we have 100% satisfaction guarantee on our quality. We know who's doing the translation, and we know that they do a good job. And so we'll deliver that quality to you on time because we want the relationship with you. Thanks for listening. If you have any other questions, certainly reach out to me. My contact information will be down below, and we'd love to work with you. Thanks.